And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live on the GSMC Sports Network, talking about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talked about, inactive statuses, and we talked about injuries as well. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions from New Japan Professional Wrestling to Stardom to WWE to Ring of Honor, from AEW to TNA. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. So do not forget to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network for some cool notifications when we go live. All right, without further ado, let's go and jump on into our next segment. We got Saturday night's main event to talk about. I thought it was a great show. Obviously, hit up that the tips and donations link when we go live. Submit your comments. Don't worry, we definitely respond to every single comment that is, kind of ultimately left over. All right, so we're in for another edition of Saturday night's main event. Obviously, this is the second one. There was one that happened in December. Gotta love this nostalgic feeling that WWE is ultimately bestowing upon their fans. And they're hitting that key fan demographic between the ages of 18 to 40, 39 years old. And, bringing back names like, Jesse the Body Ventura to kind of, ultimately kind of let things run smoothly. And sometimes he does cut a little bit of hot take. He cut a hot take about San Antonio being, afraid of a little snow. And I was like, it was placed a little awkwardly. But, that's the body. That's just the body, man. We saw, legends like Dory Funk. We saw Mark Henry as well. So that was cool. We saw Alondra Blaze, who was, last time you seen her broadcasted in wrestling. I think she threw away that championship belt on WWE Nitro when, she was kind of screwed over. It was like the original Montreal Screwjob that wasn't obviously Montreal Screwjob. But, she was promised something and Vince wanted her to drop the title, but she didn't want to do it. And then bam, obviously that all comes full circle. But it was cool to kind of see her, when it comes to seeing some legends, I thought that was pretty badass. And, it's definitely something that WWE has done pretty damn well in terms of that. So, yeah. All right, so first and foremost, we had a Women's World Championship match. Rhea Ripley was able to knock out Nia Jax, but Nia Jax, she held her own. She held her own. There was a couple of times in the match that you thought it was over. Rhea Ripley, the fighting champion that she is, obviously super duper cares about the legacy that she's leaving as this Women's World Champion. She wants to be the absolute best at it. Just the way she's been, just the way Rhea Ripley is. I don't want to see Liv Morgan's title reign as like a hiccup, or I don't want to kind of demean it or anything or any way. But I don't know. I just feel like Rhea Ripley as a champion, she's just a better face than Liv. And like I was talking about before in a couple of segments ago, how I feel like Liv Morgan would be an amazing participant to become a WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion and kind of hold that title for quite some time. I can see her hold that title and bestow her reign and kind of have her and Raquel Rodriguez kind of run Monday Night Raw as the top heel WWE Intercontinental Champion. And I think that would be better for her. I feel like with the Intercontinental Championship, I know it's kind of like viewed as like a mid-card belt in the women's division, but in the women's division, I don't really see how that could really come in fruition or kind of seem true. And I feel like anybody who can contend for the Intercontinental Championship could definitely contend for the World's Women's Championship. But right now, you have Liv, you have Lyra Valkyria, you have Io Sky. If you want to really kind of categorize it and have it like Intercontinental Championship competitors and World Championship competitors, I got to be honest, I would be way more interested to find out who's going to fight for that Intercontinental Championship. I got to be honest, I do. And it's nothing against Rhea Ripley. Nothing against Rhea Ripley whatsoever. She's just so damn strong. She's just so damn dominating. She has this presence inside the ring that's unfathomable. She's she's crazy good. She's crazy good, and I've kind of ultimately compared this to like the Brock Lesnar effect in professional wrestling. When Brock Lesnar was fighting Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, those guys would always be kind of viewed as the underdog. And that really doesn't make for good television or good matches or anything like that. You want, obviously if the underdog wins, yay, that's cool. Yeah. Like, it'll pop. That storyline, definitely it'll pop. But if you have the championship and if you have matches against two superstars that look like they can literally kind of go toe for toe with each other and have the title bounce back and forth amongst victories, be like, oh, and superstars, be like, oh, he got the best of me this night. Or, you got the best of me that night. I feel like that makes for greater television than just have Brock Lesnar kind of run rampant all over somebody like Rey Mysterio, or run rampant all over somebody like Finn Balor, or beat Kofi Kingston in a 5-second, 10-second match. Like, that's not cool. That's not cool. I don't, but that's just me. Of course, obviously that's my opinion, and I'm not saying Rhea Ripley has that same effect as Brock, because you've seen her in the ring where she could ultimately, and I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, she can't ultimately downplay her skills to the opposition, to the competition. When her matches against Liv Morgan, there's a couple times where I saw, just like Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, they're not in the same league. Rhea Ripley, she is obviously, and it sucks because it's like, dude, you're too good. You're too good to hold a championship, because every single time you get inside a bout, people are going to know that you're going to win. And like I said, absolutely nothing against Rhea Ripley. But if I see somebody, I don't know, I feel like Charlotte, Bianca, maybe even Jade, I feel like those are the only people that could really dethrone Rhea Ripley. And that's just, maybe Asuka. But if you put Dakota Kai against Rhea Ripley, I'm going to look at him like, really? Like, I don't, or, maybe Shayna Baszler would be a wild card. But, so we're, at the end of the night, Rhea Ripley was able to kind of, she was able to retain. I personally thought I was going to hear Becky Lynch's music. So, it didn't happen. So we're going to see it next Saturday at the Royal Rumble. I wonder what number, Becky Lynch is going to be. All right, we saw the press conference, the signings or whatever you like to call it, mediated or moderated, whatever you like to call it, by the Heartbreak Kid, San Antonio's own Shawn Michaels. And it was good. Definitely a build-up. I kind of did, not that I didn't like it. Shawn Michaels, Kevin, you seem jealous. Like, kind of being like, Captain Obvious over here. And then Kevin Owens goes off, and then, then they fight. And then it's, I feel like this storyline has to end at the Royal Rumble. If this whole thing goes on once again, I feel like Kevin Owens, I feel like he will lose against Cody Rhodes, because I feel like if you let Cody Rhodes have a 2-year story to defeat Royal Rumble and 2 consecutive Royal Rumbles, why would you have him lose at the Royal Rumble with Kevin Owens? But Kevin Owens he'll lose. I feel like he'll lose, and he'll be in the Royal Rumble, and I feel like maybe he'll get eliminated by somebody like Jay or somebody like Sammy, and then he'll, I don't know, then he'll want to do something on Monday Night Raw or I don't know. I just feel like he belongs on Raw. He's kind of did everything that has to do on SmackDown. Maybe you see Randy Orton come back to eliminate him, kind of having their match. I feel like that's going to be his next opponent. I see him and Randy taking on each other in a stipulations match. Like, we can see it like Edge and Randy Orton in the greatest wrestling match ever, which was kind of stupid, but it was all right. It is what it is. It was wrestling. I think that was during the COVID era. So during those times, it was like, storyline like that, we'll let it fly. But I definitely think Randy Orton is going to come back at the Royal Rumble, and maybe that's kind of the new storyline that Kevin Owens is going to go to. But the new storyline direction that Cody Rhodes is going to have heading toward WrestleMania, which is technically about 3 months away, I feel like it'll all come in fruition at the Royal Rumble, kind of like what you had when Rhodes won, and then he stared down Roman Reigns, and then they had a press conference with The Rock. And then he slapped a taste out of his mouth, and then he came to SmackDown and did the same thing. So maybe we'll see something like that. But, it should be interesting. Bron Breaker defeats Sheamus. I kind of thought Sheamus might have had a chance. I thought there was going to be a title change during this Saturday night's main event, but I was wrong. But Bron Breaker once again shows why he is the future of WWE, a young rising star on SmackDown. Obviously, he was the standard for WWE NXT Championship for quite some time. Then he had the Tag Team Championships with him and Baron Corbin as the Wolf Dogs. I don't think Sheamus is done. He recently signed a contract with WWE for about 5 years. I feel like he will get a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. He will win. Definitely. But it's going to, like, if you're WWE creative, you're like, all right, I got 5 years of Sheamus. What's the next thing? We have to have some new competitors on Raw. I don't want to see him go up against Bron Breakker again. I don't want to keep seeing this Ludwig Kaiser feuding with Pete Dunne again. I feel like ultimately Logan Paul will come out and next week, well, not next week, technically Monday, and stake his claim for the Intercontinental Championship. You have them go at it head-to-head at Royal Rumble. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you have both of these guys come into the actual match, the Royal Rumble match, and kind of maybe one of them eliminates the other person, and then the other one gets pissed off at each other. Classic WWE thing, but ultimately Bron Breakker defeats Sheamus and retains the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu ends in a disqualification. Jacob Fatu did one too many butt slaps to the face. I'm just kidding, no. But Braun Strowman, he was busted open. He was bloody. He was bleeding everywhere. You see moonsault after moonsault. Jacob Fatu pulling a tsunami attack on Seth Rollins, obviously courtesy of Bronson Reed. Jacob Fatu, they were doing the side-by-side analysis, obviously that tail of the tape. And you know what's funny? I was sitting next to, and I don't want to sound like a bad parent, but you know what? She was playing with her toys. She was playing Roblox. I was sitting next to my daughter. She's about 6 years old. She was sitting right next to me, and she was watching the TV. I looked at her, and I was like, oh, she's watching wrestling. We got a wrestling fan being born before your very eyes. She was looking, and then she was like, Dad, the guy on the left, which was Braun Strowman, when they were doing the tail of the tape, they're like, the guy on the left is so much bigger, so much stronger than this guy. And I was like, yeah, baby, you're right. And lo and behold, Braun Strowman was totally killing it. He did a couple of the around the horn kind of hits. And Jacob Fatu, he looked weak. He couldn't even pick him up to do a Samoa drop on the announce table. Obviously, nothing against Jacob Fatu. He was great. Maybe this is something in terms of WWE booking. They're like, okay, we need to make something big happen at Saturday night's main event. But Braun Strowman, then at the end of the match, you have Jacob Fatu getting frustrated and beating the hell out of him. I really don't think this has anything to do with both of their character developments. I personally think this has something to do with the White Six coming to WWE SmackDown. Braun Strowman gets annihilated by by this new young bloodline. They come in. Uncle Howdy comes in. Eric Rowan comes back to save his former Wyatt family member, building up some momentum heading toward WrestleMania. That's honestly what I thought. I didn't really think this match was going to do anything in terms of any superstar. I knew this was going to end in a no decision, much like with Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, with the last Monster Standing match, dude. Like, it's not really anything in terms of their character development, mostly setting toward maybe a different storyline heading toward the future. But I thought this match, it served this purpose. It was very entertaining, but at the end of the day, you saw a disqualification. Jacob Fatu obviously just brutalizing Braun Strowman, which you don't see a lot. You don't see very often. Next, we have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match between Gunther and Jey Uso. I thought this was going to be a title change. I did, but Gunther was able to defeat Jey Uso. It was kind of weird. It seemed like at the end, it seemed like the result was kind of forced. You saw Jey Uso throw the spear at him. You saw Jey Uso throw the spear. And the splash and all that. You got the 1-2 near fall. Then you see Gunther laying on the mat, and he starts yelling at Jey Uso. He comes up, hits him with the power bomb, and then like bam, it's over. Stacks him up. And I was, that match ended so abruptly. I was like, dude, what the hell happened? obviously this match, like what Michael Cole kind of said at the end of the match, he was like, okay, now Gunther's obviously taking Jey Uso super duper serious. But you do have Goldberg right now breathing down the neck of Gunther. Goldberg basically, he said on a game day college football, or I think it was NFL Sunday, I'm not too sure. He said his next victim, he was looking at it and it was showing a picture of, showing footage of Gunther. So they're going to have their match at WrestleMania. Everybody knows that. That's something that is not really being hidden that much, that well. So Gunther can't have the title. This cannot be a title match because if they let Goldberg win, that'd be stupid. If Gunther retains the title, yeah, it would work. But, I feel like if these guys are going to go at it, this should not have any title implications whatsoever. I could personally, maybe I could see, on Monday Night Raw, maybe you see Jey Uso, win a Battle Royal. Or you see him win a Fatal 4-Way match to become the number one contender once again. He takes on Gunther at the Royal Rumble. It's the first match. Jey Uso defeats Gunther and becomes the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And then Gunther in the Royal Rumble, he's cruising. He's doing well. Looks like he's going to get his championship belt back. And at number 20 or number 17 comes out Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg comes out. He eliminates Gunther, or it's one of those things where they're teetering on the ropes, grappling each other, and then somebody like Roman Reigns or somebody like whoever comes over and eliminates both the guys. They keep beating the hell out of each other at the sideline. Refs got to get involved, and then thus kind of creating their attention toward WrestleMania. That's how I would do it, honestly. But, it is, I don't know if Gunther's going to hold the championship, and then maybe Goldberg's going to call a shot to be like, you know what? But WrestleMania is in Las Vegas, right? Las Vegas is definitely the entertainment capital of the world. Why not have a WCW icon like Bill Goldberg and the rising star of WWE, Gunther, go at it? I personally wouldn't see Gunther losing this match because I feel like that would, but then again, if like I said before, if it's a non-title implication, I feel like it's more unpredictable. If Gunther had the championship, no doubt in my mind that Goldberg would lose, you know what I mean? But if he wants to go out on a high note, and obviously he says the reason why he's wrestling still to this day and came back and signed a limited contract with WWE was to wrestle in front of his son because his son never got to see him wrestle. Via 2001, once when WWE bought WCW and absolutely trashed everybody on the roster. I feel like Bill Goldberg definitely he likes the fact that his son could watch. And it's cool. And maybe in the future he becomes a WWE superstar. You have those ties. Obviously, your dad, he's a superstar enough in WWE, but former Universal Champion. So you got to throw some credit to Bill there. But overall, WWE Saturday Night's main event I thought was actually super cool. It was, I feel it was ultimately kind of built around, kind of building up momentum toward the Royal Rumble, which it did. And, obviously, round of applause. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our next segment. We got Ricky Starks asking AEW for a release. We're going to talk about the controversy when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.